W
T L
I think we got a show. Oh yeah, we got a show.
W
T L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Now, before we look any further ahead, we're going to talk some XFL.
Yeah.
A lot of fun here getting into week 3. Some former players that we know and coaches that we've seen before.
Of course.
Should we talk about some hits and misses?
Yeah, let's do it, Andy. And I just got to kind of stick my foot in my mouth for last week. I was so high on the Creighton Blue Jays going into Villanova and just whooping some butt. It backfired big on me with the bookie this weekend. So, they were a 2.5-point favorite. They were number 19 in the nation at the time, and Villanova, is kind of in the bottom of the pack of the Big East right now. So I really thought it was a good way for the Creighton Blue Jays to get back on top, get back rolling going into March, and it just backfired on me. They were 2.5-point favorite, and they lost by 12.
Nah, and we put it out on YouTube Shorts. You put a disclaimer in there. You're saying, look, Villanova is not the pushover everyone's saying they are.
Yeah.
It's just they're not a national championship, defending national championship type of contender.
Yeah.
That's all. And I kind of feel like, we looking back at it, Creighton got put in kind of a trap game scenario there.
Yeah.
A little bit of a hangover, losing to a top 10 team at home. Game they could have won, had chances to win against Marquette.
Yeah.
And the line was only at 2.5, and it got me too. I thought, you know what? Creighton can win by 3. They're kind of known for winning by 3.
Yeah.
And it looked like a get-back game for me. Instead, it ended up going the other direction.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. And, you just hate to see that, especially when a team's playing so well. They were, like you said, they just came out sluggish in the first half, losing the first half 38-24. And they made a run in the second half, but it just wasn't enough to pull within 10 to, really get that going. So, nope, that was my big miss of the weekend.
All right, and I can see your blank-eating grin over there. Let's get into one of your hits.
Yeah,
and
the biggest hit of the weekend happened from Saudi Arabia.
Oh, man, Fury landed a few hits, a few combos. I don't know
he
if
was cutting them up.
Jake Paul could counter.
Yeah, and I can't say too much, man. Like, I just took the boxer over the influencer. Jake Paul, I just don't like him. I don't like the way that he handles himself, carries himself, talks, but I think it's all a show. He's an influencer. That's how they do it. Yeah. And I think he wants people to kind of hate him as well. So
he's like the bad guy persona, and he does a really good job of it.
Yeah, and if you look at the split on the money, he actually won by a landslide because
$23 million, I think.
He takes
plus $23 million.
He takes a lot more money from the fight than the actual winner does. So no, that was a good bet that I hit this weekend was Tommy Fury over Jake Paul.
And I took Jake Paul, so that was one of my misses. And I was really listening to a lot. Like, I did my homework on that. A lot of guys were telling me, Jake Paul is legit. He was the favorite. And I think that line that first time I looked at, I was like minus 175, minus 180. And boy, was it dropping the closer it got to fight time. I was thinking, that doesn't look good. And then the big podcaster guy, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Man, he was all over Fury saying that guy's a legit boxer. And the more I heard that, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, Rogan knows his combat sports for sure. So, no, I rode with Rogan on that one, and it turned out to be good for me.
To my credit, it was a split decision. So I didn't lose by a lot.
Yep. Agreed.
Right, can you give me that?
He dropped him in the last round. Jake Paul dropped him in the last round. It looked more of a slip to me, but
I knew you were going to say that.
Split decision. It was a slip. So, nope, that was one of my big hits, and I was glad it happened.
All righty, let's talk about let's look ahead, okay?
Yeah.
Why do we got to dwell on?
I'm not dwelling anymore.
Your St. Louis Battlehawks coming off a big win, crazy win, 20-18 over the Seattle Sea Dragons.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about their game against the DC Defenders, who also won last week, 18-6 over the Vegas Vipers. I watched a little bit of both of these games.
Yeah.
And it's good football. It's fun football.
It's a lot of fun, Andy. And like you said, teams both coming off wins. The Defenders are obviously the 2-point favorite here, being at home.
Yeah.
The Battlehawks road underdogs for the second consecutive week as they look to improve to 3-0, like you said. And I just have to say it, A.J. McCarron is the best player in this league.
Yeah.
I've been saying it since week 1. He is going to. He looks like Tom Brady in his prime at New England against these other teams. So
then why is he so far behind all the time? He's so good
because he likes the dramatic fourth quarter comeback. He likes going for 3, going for 4.
Oh, here we go.
But I do like the Battlehawks again on the road, but this is going to be a close game, Andy. I'm looking at this like 17-15 Battlehawks.
That sounds like an XFL score, too. 17-15.
Exactly.
I like that. I don't know how you get there, but you will.
Right. McCarron is facing an aggressive defensive coordinator from DC, which could lend itself to a turnover or two, but take the defenders on to keep this game close, but look at that under 2, Andy, because that might be where my favorite bet is, and it's all the way down to 35.5 right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to go under.
Yeah, it probably will, just because DC, and I'm looking at an article right here, it's saying they are a legit defense, and it's in their name, right? The Defenders, and it seems like the coaching staff kind of built that team that way.
They drafted to that point. Yeah.
It might have been them, had 3 sacks on both quarterbacks last week, so a total of 6 sacks. I mean, that's getting after it, smelling blood in the water, and really kind of rolling the dice too. Like you're just leaving your corners out there man to man and saying their pass rush is going to get home. And thus far for DC, it has.
Yeah, Andy. And the way that you look at their offense, they're a 2-quarterback system, both running quarterbacks. Them plus their running back accounted for 229 yards and 2 touchdowns last game.
Yeah.
So you know that they're going to run the clock. I think it's going to run out on them with a very low score in this one. So I think I'm going with the Battlehawks, but I really like the under as the best bet.
Okay, I'll go along with that. And Abram Smith is really their big-time running back.
For sure.
Young man made some noise for the Baylor Bears, had
Yes,
a
sir.
really good campaign before he left the Big 12, and now he's showcasing his talents in the XFL, and he's probably going to get a look from the NFL now. I think it's working kind of like Dwayne Johnson envisioned.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be the G League for the NFL. It's supposed to be, the recruiting process for the guys that need a second chance or don't make the pros right out of college. So I really like it. It's fun football and a lot of fun rules as well.
All right, and look at the unders, and the unders have been hitting pretty consistently with the XFL, which now you're going to start seeing some consistent lines getting into week 3.
For sure.
All right, so we move on to the San Antonio Brahmas.
Yeah.
Coming off a win, beating the Orlando Guardians. That was the biggest discrepancy or biggest margin of victory last week in the XFL. The Brahmas over the Orlando Guardians 30-12. Taking on the Roughnecks, who, too, are coming off a win over the Renegades 23-14.
Yeah, Roughnecks at home, Houston at home, obviously. They're a 4.5-point favorite on my book right now, Andy, with a minus 200 money line. Over-under sitting at 37.5. I think there's going to be multiple touchdowns scored in this game, so I'm looking a little bit at that over, Andy, but I don't know if it'll quite get there. So my pick for this game is Houston 24, San Antonio 17. They're covering that spread for sure.
Yeah, everything I'm looking at right now is saying Houston. Houston's the team to beat in the XFL, undefeated, right? And it looks like they play the cleanest brand of football right now. Their coaching staff also isn't catching heat like other coaching staffs are, as far as understanding the logistics, understanding these new, I don't want to call them zany, but different rules to the game.
It's just not the way that football's been played for all these kids their entire life.
Right.
We've had the same set of rules since we're in Pee Wee all the way up into the NFL pretty much, especially with the scoring. So it's just a little bit to get used to, but it is a lot of fun,
Yeah, and your Wade Phillips is the coach that's catching a lot of flack right now. And after a touchdown, there's 3 options, correct?
Yes.
You go if you go the ball at the 1 yard line, it's worth 1 point. You go for it. And there's no PATs.
No.
That's not even an option. Your 3 options are go for it from the 1 for 1 point, the 2 yard line for 2, or what is it, 3 points from the 5?
I think so. I believe so.
And all the metrics tell you go for 2.
Yeah.
Go for 2.
Yeah. No, and at 4.5 points, I feel really comfortable laying this number with Wade Phillips led Roughnecks, like you said, who are a complete team. And I would put a future on them to win the XFL right now. I just think they're the best team out there. Sorry to my Battlehawks, but Houston looks like they're the best team in the XFL.
Do you have a line on a future at all?
I can find one.
I was going to ask you if you had a parlay play for the team.
I don't. Not on XFL.
Not yet.
I'm saving my parlays for the UFC.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Well, and you probably will come out with a parlay. You're not going to be able to help yourself. So people just need to tune into our Twitter handle.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe watch a YouTube short.
Yep.
And you might have a parlay play for them come Saturday, come Sunday. Just going to have to stay tuned.
Houston Roughnecks plus 300 to win the XFL. I think it's a good bet.
There
Battlehawks right behind them at 375.
All right, I'm not going to argue that.
No.
We're only 3 weeks in, and from what we've seen, that seems like a pretty doable
good value.
Type of future rate there.
So,
all right.
on that.
Well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. You've been drinking your Taco Vesa over there.
Of course.
Your light, crisp Mexican lager. I've been rocking the Pale Ale Cardinal, as I always do. Nebraska Brewing Company, world class in every glass. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.